Alright guys, so in today's video we're going to be talking about my journey as an ICT trader. We'll go through the very beginning, the early stages, and also leading into the payout stage. Hopefully you guys have been looking forward to this video. It's going to be a bit of a longer video going through my journey from start to finish. I'm going to talk through the fails, the challenges, the successes, everything in between, because I want to give you guys a realistic kind of overview of what we're going to talk about. A lot of these influencers give you an unrealistic expectation of what you could expect. Me personally, I've been doing this for roughly 1 year. My first kind of exposure to ICT I think was in around April 2023. So overall my journey has been about a year in the making. Since then it's been a learning process. So when you start the trading journey, in your mind you think to yourself like, I'm going to make it in 1 year, or 6 months or 3 months. And a lot of the time it's a bit of a quicker goal than what actually happens. So I had the initial goal of, in 3 months time, I can quit my job, I can leave work, I'll be making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's unrealistic to think that way. Sure, some people will manage that and will make that happen, but realistically, it takes years to perfect the skill. And even me personally at this stage, I'm still working on perfecting my skill, I'm still working on getting better, I'm still learning things, and I'm still improving as a trader, as you should be as well. So when I look back and I think back to last year when I started, for me, it was all about trying to grasp the concept. I think the first 2 to 3 months, it was, okay, what's a rate of liquidity? What's a market structure shift? Really trying to define those terms. Like, what do these things mean? What is liquidity? What are these key timeframes? And I started seeing things repeat. And this is what ICT talks about. Watch those things repeat, become confident in these things repeating, and that'll give you confidence leading into when you start trading, whether it be demo or whether it be in a personal or a funded account, right? So in the strategy, talking to other like-minded individuals and really going from there. So for me, that was about a 2 to 3 month process, just really learning the strategy, a very basic rate of liquidity, market structure shift, and then a return to a fair value gap. So the first few months, it was all learning process, learning the strategy, and there was still so many unanswered questions. Like in my head, I'd be thinking to myself, okay, well, I understand this, but why does this happen? Or why does this happen? It was kind of, the learning curve it's not flat, it's not straight, right? You'll go through ups, you'll go through downs, you'll think like you know everything, you'll feel that way, and then you'll have something happen to you, whether it's in a live account or a funded account, and all of a sudden the motivation will drop, and then it'll peak, and then it'll drop. But it's a matter of staying through those peaks and troughs, because really it is like a wave, but it exponentially increases at some point when everything starts to click in your mind. 7 or 8 months in, things really start to click for me, the concepts start to come together. And you might be wondering, when exactly did that happen, or what changed for that to happen for me? And let me get into it. So realistically, when I started off with a mentor, and he taught me a lot of the basic information, and I'm grateful for that. And what really allowed me to drive further and drive higher was to use the mentor, use the community I was in, but then do my own research, put in the hours, put in the time. So as a lot of you guys know, like I started trading Forex during the London session and then indices during the New York session. So I used to solely trade the New York session, and then I started trading the London session too. So started trading Forex during London session, then I'd wake up again, I'm from Australia, wake up again for the New York session and trade indices. So I had all that chart time, and I think that repetitive chart time, seeing these patterns occur, Forex, indices, is really important. Have that repetitive nature about your trading and about your style and about your learning, because chart time really lets you see these patterns form and gives you confidence that's going to occur again and again and again. Not just once, not just twice, but you'll see it every day, every week, and it won't stop. Starting your journey, you're 1 month, 2 months, 3 months in, focus on learning, focus on getting comfortable seeing these setups play out. And also, if you haven't done it, watch 2022 Mentorship by ICT, because that is what really bridged the gap for me. There was a lot of unanswered questions. I watched every single video. Yes, there's a lot of babbling, there's a lot of talking, but really, here's the mentor of mentors, right? Watch ICT's 2022 mentorship, and that's exactly what I did. I watched all the videos, I took notes of all the videos, and I've got around 120 pages of notes that maybe I'll make accessible for you guys in the future. So it's one of those things that you got to put in the work, you got to put in the time. You can't expect anyone to, make you move to that next level if you yourself aren't willing to put in the work. And that's something that really changed for me and that really switched. As soon as I put in the extra effort, things started to change dramatically, and my level of knowledge and understanding also increased exponentially at the same time. So I've spent a couple months now, I've started researching the strategy, the silver bullet strategy. I've started having a go at demo, for New York session and London session. And for me, I didn't do demo long enough. So, I've talked about this to some of my mentorship students, where 4 weeks is not enough, 3 weeks is not enough. You've got to have months, in my opinion, on demo, just to know that you can handle pushing the button. Once you get into the funded stage, that's a whole nother ball game, because often when you get into this industry, obviously people want to make money. That's the whole aim, right? We want to make money, all our effort, all our time, we want to be rewarded with something, but that's like a process. It doesn't happen overnight. And I think a lot of people, myself included, got into this industry expecting things to happen really, really quickly, rushed the demo process, rushed that process, got into funded accounts, and me myself blew multiple in the early stages. Didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know the psychology. I didn't know how to manage the psychology. I didn't know how to manage the psychology, the emotions of taking losses, of taking wins, fear and greed, balancing that out on the scales. And really, you have to go through that as a trader. So if there was something I could go back on just immediately, it would be look at 2022 mentorship earlier, start putting in that chart time earlier, and instead of thinking about the money straight away, think of the process. So think of the process, think of the learning curve, think of taking solid trades, controlling your emotions, figuring out what makes you tick, what makes you kind of go off the rails, what makes you tilt, and then trying to fix those things, because that was the biggest thing for me that switched me from passing accounts to not passing accounts, getting payouts to not getting payouts, was controlling the emotions, controlling the psychology. And for a lot of people, that's going to be the final piece of the puzzle. Can you control your emotions? Can you control your psychology enough to then move to that next stage? So where are we? We're about 3, 4, 5, 6 months into this, and I've done demo trading, I've failed multiple accounts, and what I'll probably put up here for you guys too, some screenshots of different accounts I had, different prop firms, my Forex funds, multiple accounts of those guys gone. Why? Because I started too early and I couldn't control my emotions. I still wasn't comfortable with the strategy. I still didn't trust my edge. I probably didn't even have an edge at that point, right? So multiple failed accounts, and a lot of people go through that, but even through all these failures, you've got to stick through the process. You can't expect things to happen overnight, which I think is an important concept to talk about. And after all of that, 8, 7, 8, 9 months in, things really started to click, right? I identified what was wrong, I identified what made me go on tilt, and I started to really see success. Now, the interesting thing is when you start trading and you do it for yourself, the holy grail is passing that first funded account, and it's a great achievement, right? So if you've done that, congratulations. But that is not the end goal. There is no end goal with trading, in my opinion, because what you realize, you'll pass multiple accounts, you'll fail multiple accounts, but what really matters is not only can you keep the accounts, but more importantly, can you get payouts? Because that's what we're here for, right? So there's multiple stages. You've got the learning stage, and that takes months. Back test, forward test. Watch the 2022 mentorship. Watch these videos that I've put into playlists for you guys, so you can see, from start to finish, how you could kind of use those to phrase your study. Do all of that. Focus on your psychology. Have the chart time, right? Focus on things that are going to make your trading better. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing. Don't worry about what your friends are doing. Don't worry about what this top tier trader's making, because realistically, you're on your own journey, I'm on my own journey, and we're all going to do things different. We could have the exact same strategy, we could have the exact same knowledge in front of us. You guys, there's a bunch of you guys, we've got over 3,000 members now on YouTube. You guys could all see the exact same content on my YouTube channel, but we all have different results. Our edge, our ability to manage risk, and our ability to manage emotions. Those are the only 3 things that are different. The only 3 things. So for me, I guess as a trader and my journey, me as a trader and looking back on my journey from the very beginning to where I am now, do I feel like I've made it? No. Do I feel like there's still room for improvement? Yes. The journey has just begun, because as a trader, there's all these things that you constantly have to do to be profitable in the markets. You've got to constantly show up. You've got to constantly control your emotions. You've got to constantly make sure you're sticking to the right things. And guess what? Everyone slips up. I slip up, you slip up, people make mistakes, but it's a matter of reducing those mistakes, having bigger wins, smaller losses, right? And more control over your risk management. You're not just going in risking 2% or risking 4%. You're not taking multiple losses then full put in your account, which I've done. Everyone's done this in the past, especially when you're learning to trade and you're learning how to control your emotions. It's not to say that you're not going to have this happen to you. You have to experience that. But once that clicks, once you get that clicking moment and you say, wait a sec, if I keep doing this, I'm going to get the same result. It's a cycle. You start here, you learn, you think you know everything, you have a moment, your motivation drops. You have a good day, a couple good days, do something stupid, motivation drops. Instead of having that curve that's up and then down so drastic, keep that curve flowing up with only small troughs. Keep those silly moments small. I'm human, you're human, so we click the button, right? And there's going to be some human error involved in that, but the more you limit that, the better you control your risk, the better a trader you're going to be. And that's probably my best piece of advice for everyone kind of starting out. Learn what makes you tick, learn what really makes you thrive, what makes you go off the rails, what makes you kind of go on tilt, and focus on those things, especially the things that make you go on tilt, because those are the things that are going to be holding you back the most. If you're a trader, it doesn't matter what stage you're at, 1 month in, 6 months in, 12 months in, 2 years in, 3 years in, and you still haven't found profitability, you still haven't reached that funded account, you still haven't reached that payout, my advice to you is to keep going, keep pushing forward. One thing that I preach on my channel, and hopefully you guys can see that, I preach making things as simple as possible. Yes, a lot of these concepts are complex in nature, but you've got to break it down to be as simplistic as possible to make sense for you. The way you can approach or apply ICT's concepts, what I kind of teach here, that's what you want to do. Make it simplistic. Have a set of rules, right? Manage that risk. Come up with a plan before you start trading. Before I start trading, I'm looking for exactly the same things. You guys obviously see me trade the London session. I'm looking for buy side liquidity, sell side liquidity. I'm looking for imbalances. And then I'm making up in my mind, okay, what's the most likely scenario? Do we trade towards this? And if I'm not sure, I'll wait for liquidity to be taken. So again, if you're not sure in the markets, you either don't trade or you reduce your risk. You put on a full size risk when you're not sure, you're asking for things to go wrong. Finding a system and then applying that day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. And if you truly have an edge, it does not matter if you take 2 losses in a row. It doesn't matter if you take 3 or 4 losses in a row. Your edge by the end of that week, by the end of that month, by the end of that fortnight, should allow you to be profitable in the long run and should allow you to pass accounts, should allow you to have that edge and get those payouts and pass those accounts. And mind you guys, like everything will improve for you, even your knowledge. Like when I look back, right, I'll get this on the screen now, When I look back, have a look at some of these screenshots of my analysis. Have a look, like you look at that compared to maybe some of the stuff I show now, it's dramatically improved. And you're gonna experience the same thing, right? You're gonna experience the same thing. You start off with all these questions and at some point, those questions will be answered and you'll find a way in the markets that doesn't necessarily make it stressful because you know what you're looking for and you know what you're expecting. And you know that even if you have losses, you're still gonna be able to have an edge in the markets and you're still gonna come back and you're gonna treat every single day as a new day. It's all probability based. It's all probability based. There's no magic risk to reward. There's no magic risk amount. There's no magic take profit level. There's no magic PD rate. There's no magic strategy. Turtle soup, market maker models, macros, no magic model. You find a model that works for you and then you apply that day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. And when the time is right, when the time is right for you, then you'll start being rewarded for your efforts. And for me, it's been a year. Payouts from Apex, passing accounts, and these things will happen for you as well, right? But you gotta put up the work, you gotta put in the time, and you gotta stay consistent with it. I hope you guys have got something from this video. It's quite a raw video, obviously seeing a different side to the YouTube channel, but I'm a regular person, right? I'm from Australia, right? I'm a regular person. It doesn't matter where you're from. Everyone still has an opportunity to make in this game, but the question I have for you to end this is, how much work are you willing to put in? And are you willing to withstand the storms? Are you willing to withstand the hardships of trading, the mental hardships of trading, the financial hardships of trading that might come through that? And if you say yes, and if you're happy to put in the work, then I truly believe that you can do exactly the same as any other trader out there, have success, pass accounts, and also get payouts. Until next time, guys, I'll talk to you then. If you like these types of videos, let me know in the comments below. Peace out.